Hey Flosstube, I am Abby with Crafted Zen. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. If you are a returning friend or stitchy friend, welcome back. This is Flosstube number 2, which I promised every 2 weeks or so. That's the goal for these, to put a video out to catch you up on what's going on with my stitching, things in general, stitchy topics, life updates, haul, plants, etc., etc., etc. So without further ado, I suppose I can hop right in. So what's been going on in my life over the last 2 weeks? All of my dogs, I have 3 dogs, Hans, Henry, and Fred. Hans, Henry, and Fred. So Hans and Fred are both miniature schnoodles, and Henry is a 2-year-old golden retriever German shepherd mix. So all 3 dogs have had to go to the vet over the last week. It's been 1 week since, hi, my name is Abby, and it has been 6 days since I have last been to the vet. I hope I don't have to go back anytime soon because it's the worst. My vet is a vet hospital, so it's kind of neat because they're not appointment based. It's very much like a real ER or an urgent care, where if you have an emergency need or an urgent need, they'll take you right back, but otherwise you're, have to wait in line. And it's always been pretty busy, but I don't know if it's just because I think they've lost a lot of staff, and I think maybe they were going through some management changes and some ownership changes, but like I was on their website the other day because I knew I needed to bring the dogs in, so I was looking at vet hours, and you know how we all kind of end up down like a rabbit hole that we never expected to get on. It was one of those where I, for whatever reason, wanted to see what open jobs they had, because the experiences I've had recently have been so bad. And before you go there, yes, I know I need to get a new vet. Anyone in my life that hears me complain about the vet has said I'm not allowed to do it anymore because this place is so chaotic. But either way, because of recent chaos and like wait times of 3, 4, 5 hours, I was like, they must be looking for help bad. And sure enough, I mean, they're looking for like a practice manager, they're looking for a COO, they're looking for multiple veterinarians, like just all kinds of different stuff. How did we get here? Either way, you can hear Hans barking right now. All the dogs had to go to the vet. Fred and Hans both have bacterial ear infections. Hans has only ever had 2 ear infections his whole life. He's 10 years old and all of a sudden wants to go and get an ear infection. But Fred just turned 20 weeks. So that's what's going on with both of them. So they were at the vet last Sunday, and we got medicated drops that I've got to give them for 14 days. And then Monday morning, I woke up to see that Henry had licked there's Henry, right on cue. But so he had decided overnight to lick his back paws raw, and after further investigation and going to the vet, I realized that he's probably been doing this for days, because in the hour to hour and a half it took me to wake up, get in the car, get to the vet, get into the vet's office, the swelling that I even saw right when he woke up had almost disappeared. It was insane. But so we had to get him one of those new shots that they have for dogs now. They didn't have these years ago, to my knowledge, but now if you have a dog that suffers from seasonal allergies, and German shepherds and golden retrievers are, historic for that. It's definitely a breed specific thing with them. But if you've got a dog that suffers from allergies, they've got these shots now that chemically alter things so that the dog actually cannot feel itchy, so they won't scratch or lick repetitively. So he got one of those shots, which is like $100, because you have to, they give more medicine based on how heavy the dog is. And since he's 60 pounds, he had to get a whole large dose. But so he got that, and then now he's on prednisone to help with healing and to help, make sure that he's not going nuts. But needless to say, I don't need to go back to the vet for a long time. And I don't like going there. But the Monday morning visit was pretty quick. I only had to miss like an hour of work. So otherwise, work's been pretty good. It's the 3rd quarter and we're in September now. If I get another email that says like, boy, can you believe it's September? I'm like, no, but everyone can keep saying that over and over again. But either way, so lots of projects coming to a close, very busy in that regard. But work is good, being busy is good. I'm grateful for all of that. All of my family is safe and healthy. my prayers and thoughts have been with everybody in different parts of the country that are going through things with hurricanes and major storms, because up here in Chicagoland, you know, I don't have to worry about that so much. You know, we have tornadoes and heavy storms, but no hurricanes or tropical storms to worry about. And I know that's been something that a lot of people in our country have been dealing with. Home remodel. So our home was built in the 30s, and as I mentioned in my first video, right now we're remodeling the den and my office space. Well, we decided that instead of trying to repair the walls in my office space that are made out of plaster, that we were just gonna like take it all down. So Joe and his dad did some demo work yesterday. And so now that's moving. It had kind of paused for a little bit because Joe's dad had gone out of town. But that's up and moving again, which is wonderful. I'm hoping by Thanksgiving we'll be back over there. So that's what was going on there. They did a lot of demo yesterday. They're putting up outlets, and today we were talking about where I want the different can lights in my office. And we went to the carpet store today to look at samples because we got a quote. This carpet that we wanted, it's this color, it's like turmeric, it's this yellow beautiful color. My mother hates it, but I really like it. It's very funky and it had a geometric pattern. Long story short of it, or long story long of it, it was probably like $9 a square foot. It's nylon, okay? And with it being a pattern, that means that you're gonna have some waste because they've got to match things up. So we had like 100 square feet worth of just waste. And the quote to get this area recarpeted, our den and our office, came out to like over $6,000. And so that, you know, right out the window, because I mean, that's just insane no matter what for I think it's like 600 square feet, okay? At 600 square foot, very basic room. It's like a 12 by 20. And if you know about carpet and flooring, I mean, it's not a complex job, this install. But in a few years, we're going to remodel. We're going to replace all the hard surfaces in the floor on the hard surfaces all over the first floor. So if I get my way, that means that the den in my office will actually be hard surface. Right now, Joe is pretty adamant that he wants that still to be soft surface, but we'll see how this plays out over the next couple of years. But either way, so it's like, okay, if we were picking this carpet out, and I have a sample, which I can grab and probably will, but if we were going to put this carpet in forever, that's awesome. And I don't mind necessarily spending more money on it. You know, we can budget this out, and with financing, we can make it work. But if we're just installing this to then tear it up in 3 years, So we went back today and we found something else. It's kind of like in a darker gray, because it's also pretty important with the animals that, and Joe and me, I mean, I won't lie, but all of us, obviously within our main living space, we shouldn't have too light of a carpet like we have in here. It's funny because I would have never chosen a color that is as light on our carpet right now in this front room had I known we'd be spending so much time in here, because we've had to just be so vigilant with Fred potty training and everything. But either way, so we went to the carpet store, we got a new quote, still pretty high, probably going to keep looking, but so that, you know, we did that. We went to Costco today. What else went on over the last couple of weeks? I think that's pretty much it. But if something else comes up in the course of filming this, I'm sure I can bring that up. So I didn't have quite as much time to stitch as I would have liked, and that's okay though. I've made up for it over the weekend. A new section of the Cryptid Stitch Along came out, which I have already semi-completed. Haven't finished the back stitching on it just yet, but either way, I figure I can show you my progress on a few of my different projects. It's been amazing how many people have commented and liked and subscribed since my first video. It's been super fun. It's made like, I mean, the first video was pretty nerve-wracking, but I've been so excited to tape this one, and I felt even more pressure just to make sure I've had enough stitching done so that there's something to show. But I just want to say thank you again to everyone who's liked and subscribed and interacted, because it's been super fun. A few people have even reached out to me on Instagram and just kind of started a conversation, because they too have been looking for, you know, stitchy friends. So if you want to reach out to me, please feel free to do so. All right, so this is the Blue Flowers, the Gentle Rain. And I'm still working up here. I haven't done too much work on this. I'm working out the text at the top that's going to say, "How sweet the music of the rain." This is done on Legacy 37 count Wild Honey. And this is what I'll probably keep working on for the rest of the weekend. I want to get the text and all of the like the clouds, the whimsical, like kind of the wispy stuff at the top done, because then I start to get to stitch all of the little wildlife, the birds and the rodents, and there's a cute little water fountain. There's two trees, a bunch of birds, a bunch of good stuff. Dogs, there's Henry's. So that's my progress on that one. So then, like I mentioned, the Witchy Stitcher, the stitch along is the Cryptid Stitch Along. So I finished the frame pretty well in advance. So we've got this this is the size of the whole thing. And I believe there's going to be 16 different cryptids, which are little creatures that have like stories associated with them. So this first one is Mothman, and this was released on Friday. I believe we're going to get one every week now. So you guys should see a bunch of little creatures popping up as I tape more videos. But this is done on Old Salem. And it's the called for colors, the DNC. On the last one, with the Gentle Rain, that one's not on the called for linen. The called for linen's more of a pinky tone. This one's super cute. So this is my new one by the Tiny Modernist, but this is my bag by the 805 Stitcher. I mentioned her in my last video. I get all my craft bags from her off of Etsy. I'll link her shop in the about for this video, but I reached out to her because I had a Christmas themed stitch or project that I was starting, and I wanted a Christmas themed bag, and what's better for a Christmas themed bag than a Grinch bag? And she pointed me to different fabrics on Joann Fabrics that I could pick out. And so I kind of got to like custom make this. So if you're looking for bags, definitely check out her store and hit her up. I love her stuff. But let me get this out of here. So this project is it's an already completed holiday sampler stitch along that the Tiny Modernist did called The Christmas Village. It's a 4-parter. And pretty much all DMC, but I did actually, there's some called fors that are the Gentle Art, and I did substitute those out. Sneeze, excuse me. Okay, I kept it dainty. I'm a very obnoxious sneezer. Oh, okay, please let that be the end. All right, so this is on fabric Picture This Plus Crystal Nessie 32 count, and it has been super fun to be stitching it. I love the little characters and all the colors. All my needle minders have like combined. Excuse me. Now I've got. All right, but either way, very cute. And actually, I think I'm gonna keep doing the back stitching as I can throughout the project, because I'm not a huge back stitching fan. In fact, for a very long time, I actively avoided doing any projects that required back stitching. But I'm trying to get out of my bubble, right? I'm getting out of my bubble. I'm doing more things. I am going to try new designers, and I might just learn to love back stitching. Maybe one day I'll also breathe normally again through my nose. That'd be kind of cool. Right? But either way, that's really fun. I can already kind of envision where I'm going to hang it. Excuse me. Vino Rosé. This is a boxed rosé, no shame in my game, that I found at Costco the last time I was there. It's like $13 for a box that's like equivalent to 3 liters of wine. And it's a very nice table rosé. It's not too dry, not too sweet. It is delicious. Cheers. Happy Labor Day. Maybe the wine will help me breathe. It's already helping. I don't know. All right. Ooh, this is actually a finish. Okay, so I finished my Butterfly Cloche by Hello from Liz Matthews. It was all the called for DMC. It was not on the called for linen. I do have my linen tag. So this is actually done on HDS linen, 40 count winter wishes. Oh yes, and now that I'm thinking of butterflies, I do have an update and request. Since I know that many of my viewers have to be good at landscaping. So I'll show you guys this, and I'm gonna tell it, and we're gonna go on a little bit of a tangent for a minute, and then we'll get into today's regularly scheduled programming, which is a review of many of my almost fully finished objects, my FFOs. But either way, so I finished my butterfly cloche. It's on 40 count. It's tiny, teeny, tiny stitches. Just love it. Love the details. The linen's kind of this like cloudy color. My mom is really excited for this. This is definitely going to be a gift for her. She's got a whole idea on how she wants to frame it. She's going to do a double mat in the shape of the cloche with a dark and a light blue. I will share it when it's done. Might send this to her to have her do. They're down in Austin. Might be easier just to ship this down to her and then have her frame it, as opposed to like me trying to get that done up here and then travel down there with it. But so anyway, okay, so I know that many of you probably have a lot more experience with landscaping than I do, because if you have any experience with landscaping, you have more experience than I do. But if you do have experience with landscaping and you're from the Midwest and you're knowledgeable of, you know, our climate and what does well and what doesn't do well when it comes to landscaping. I'm going to say that word one more time, landscaping. But either way, so at our house, as I've mentioned, you know, it's a remodel. And when we moved in, it had probably been a good 3+ years. I would say 3+ years since the landscaping had really been taken care of. We bought our home from an elderly woman who was suffering from dementia. And so the house had just become too much for her to handle. A lot of that's become apparent, you know, as we've been remodeling, as Joe's been getting into things and digging into things here and there, and, you know, different stuff that's come up even just from, you know, critters that we've found and stuff like that. It's pretty apparent that the house hadn't been being taken care of as well as it could. And that also extended to the landscaping. So I've got, you know, we've got probably, you know, between 0.6 and 3/4 of an acre. And it's in an area that has different types of ivy. I've got all kinds of baby trees, what I would even almost call saplings, growing at this point, that are so big that I'm going to probably have to either, you know, get what are they called? The tools that help you dig stumps. So I'll have to like either rent something like that, or like, you know, get a tiller or burn it, or there's just a lot of overgrowth going on in my backyard. And if I can figure it out, maybe I will put some footage of it or some pictures of this on the back end of this video for you to see. But either way, I just figured that there's got to be some people in, you know, the greater Midwest or the Midwest area that have some advice on how I can get this stuff under control. My big goal right now is we have one receptacle that's for yard waste that I can get rid of every week, and if I fill that thing up once a week, that's, you know, I'm in a good spot. Because what I was getting at earlier with like the ivy and stuff is we've got a bunch of poisonous, like indigenous plants. So I've got poison ivy, poison oak, I've got pokeberry, and with the dogs, you know, I just don't want anything poisonous out there that could either harm myself or them. So really this year I'm focused on just kind of getting rid of everything so that I can start from scratch. And there's a couple local nurseries I've been told to look into that might come out for a fee and walk the property and give me some advice. But I've also been trying to kind of find resources online and learn some stuff online myself. But either way, I just figured that if there's anybody out there that is knowledgeable and wants to reach out to me, you know, you can feel free to comment on the video or find me on Instagram or something, and we can, you know, chit chat, and maybe you can point me in the right direction, even if it's just like articles that I should be reading or something. It'd be greatly appreciated. So either way, I brought you up to speed on stitching for the last couple of weeks. I did not work on, I've got my Bigfoot bunch project that's really cute, but I haven't touched that really, just haven't really felt the desire to do so. I was way more interested in that new start with the Tiny Modernist. But either way, one of the other things I thought I would do today in this video is to share with you guys a bunch of my almost fully finished objects. And I have to say almost because while the stitching may be done, I have really never framed anything that I stitched for a few different reasons. I mean, up until a year ago, I didn't have an actual home where I knew I was going to be living for a few years, and I knew I would want to hang cross-stitching projects. So that was a big part of it. And the other part of it is that, you know, framing, from my understanding, is very expensive. I always knew growing up, my grandmother would talk about just that she'd, you know, have to get things framed, and that, you know, I knew it wasn't something cheap because it's not easy. So, well, when Joe and I got together, one of the things that he promised was he would learn how to frame stuff. So there is hope, you know, in my story. But I know that we won't probably get to doing much of that until after the remodel is done. So many of these may not get framed super quick. But that isn't to say that I wouldn't love to finish them in other ways. So if you see any of these projects and you have an idea for how I should finish them, I would love to hear from you. The other goal and hope I have for showing you guys this is my last video I mentioned, you know, I have my own taste in stitching. There are things that I enjoy, I'm sure that other people don't enjoy, and there are things that I don't enjoy that other people do. But, you know, I used to really love, and I still love, ink circles. I love repetitive patterns. I love things that mirror, you know, back and forth and up and down. And I figured by showing you guys some of these old projects, maybe they become things that you'd be interested in. Because one of my favorite things about Flosstube and, you know, finding stitching stuff online is being introduced to designs and artists that I hadn't ever known before. Because it's been an amazing experience over the last couple of months getting to see new stuff and spend way too much on new patterns, which after this, we'll go into some of the new stuff that I've purchased since the last time we got together. Okay, so I had to go through my stash and I had to like make sure I got all my patterns. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to share with you guys is a hands-on design. It's called the Star Spangled Swine Farm, and this is from 2019. Super cute. This is actually the first design I ever did on a dark linen, and I had no idea how hard that was going to be. I remember when I was telling Phyllis, I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this one on dark. She's like, oh, that's so difficult. I don't like to stitch on dark linen because, and I'm like, what do you mean? It can't be that difficult. Okay, so this one, I should have looked this up and I didn't, but I want to share it because I love this pattern. It is an ink circles design. Autumn is a second spring where every, I think it's leaf is a flower. This is one of the first ones I ever did by ink circles. And it's partly where I fell in love. I love the colors, you know, the orange, the red, the greens, and it was kind of repetitive with all the triangles and the different geometrical shapes. All right, so this is ink circles. This is called Elegant Squid. I'll just show it to you. I did this one for Joe. I felt like it was something that he would put in his office because he loves the navy and navy things. I thought of those as little kraken. Another one that I don't know the name of by ink circles. Also, when I was younger, also still sometimes today, but mainly when I was younger, I was not always as careful with my stitching as I should have been. And this is one of the very unfortunate projects that I spilled coffee on. Do you see the stain? My mom said that I should just try to tea stain the rest of it really dark, but I don't know if the floss would bleed. So if I do end up framing this, I think I'll frame it and I will leave it just like it is so I can shame myself. And when I show it to people, I'll be like, and that's the one that I worked on for probably over a year, but because I couldn't be careful, that's the one that I ruined. This is my lesson in being careful. I got serious there. All right. This one as well, ink circles. Maybe I will in the about for this video. See, look though, more evidence. Oh, this way. More evidence of me not being careful. See that pink? That was a highlighter. At least that's not right on the pattern though. This one's actually really pretty though. Like the pink. This is one of the examples of ink circles. One of the reasons I love this is it was one hand-dyed floss. And so I really love that when there's a pattern where it's just one silk or one floss the whole time that, you know, has its own variation in the coloring. It's just one less thing to worry about. You just get to sit there and stitch. You don't have to worry about switching floss or anything. It just goes on autopilot. And I mean, the big thing for me about stitching is just being able to, again, crafted zen, right? I like to zone out while I stitch. I don't like to be stressed out while I stitch. All right, so shocking, another ink circles. But this one actually is a collaboration between Cherrywood Design Studios and Ink Circles. It's called Boule to More. So like this, the patterns were each their own half. I love this one. And when did I do this? I did this in 2018 because the number's on it. How novel. Is that upside down? Yes. But look how cute. So cute. So cute. I love Halloween designs. They're the best. Henry is so lazy. What kind of 2-year-old dog behaves like this? The kind with seasonal allergies who licks off his paws and has to be on steroids. No, he's been doing really good though. What really sucked is that for a few days we couldn't take him on walks, and he loves walks twice a day. I mean, we called them W's because we can't say the actual word out loud. I can't believe that he hasn't already freaked out because I was saying it. But yeah, he couldn't. I mean, he's so allergic to grass. That's what it is. And if he goes for his W, he comes back and he's all swollen and everything, and he had to take a couple days off. He's back on it now though, thank goodness, because he was really depressed. Like all week, Joe kept commenting on it about how sad he felt like Henry was. And I didn't disagree. So this one, Ink Circles, shocking, is called Friendly Flower Bot. This is cute, very cute. I love the pink linen. This is one I would love to frame for my office when that one day gets completed. This one I love because it's kind of nerdy. This is another Ink Circles. It's called Quaker Genetics. So if you're into biology at all and mapping out genomes, you'll understand why I love this one. Oop, we almost had an accident. I almost dropped 2 more on the ground. I think that's right. I thought that's super cute. Some of these too I need to get framed because look at all this extra linen. Sometimes I had to buy pieces of linen that are just so big because it's all I had at my shop. I bet you if I actually, you know, got some of these prepared to go get framed, I'd have so much linen I wouldn't need to buy anymore for any of my upcoming projects. This is one of my early ones when I got back into stitching. So this is Ink Circles Arranging Vegetables. This one's really cute. I always envisioned I'd get this finished and hang it in my kitchen where vegetables would be cooked. Except Joe doesn't like vegetables. Very lame. I'm always telling him we need more green stuff in our food that he then picks out. Anybody else dealing with that kind of an eater in their household? He's very adventurous, but very picky at the same time. All right, the last one I have to show, Ink Circles. Are we noticing a pattern here? That's why I said I had to branch out. Nothing that I'm stitching right now is Ink Circles, unfortunately. Next video, I'm going to show you guys my stash that I need to finish, or well, that I need to start and finish, plenty of which are Ink Circle patterns I went through today, and I was like, oh, I love them all. Either way, so this is Ink Circles Love Letters Celtic. This one's from 2011. Not when I stitched it, but that's when the design is from. Very pretty. Love the colors, the pinks and the browns. Very nice stuff. And then, actually, I said that was my last one, but it's not. Because in this process, I found a work in progress, a whip that I didn't know I had abandoned. So this is ink circles after the roses. And what happened with this one is I was traveling and I went down to Texas and I was stitching and I left my floss. And so I had to have my mom ship me the floss. And in doing so, like, you know, there was a lapse. And instead of waiting, I started a new project. And then I never got back to finishing this. So this is definitely going to get back on my list. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous colors. I'm sure it'll look even better when I take pictures of it for my Instagram. So if you want to see the progress on that and see that one wrap up, definitely make sure to give me a follow there. Okay, so the last thing I thought I would do is there were some digital patterns that I purchased since the last time I met with you guys. And I figured I could show you those. And then we could close out. And then see you in 2 weeks. We can go and enjoy our Labor Day. Since it's Sunday right now, it is Sunday, September 5th. In case you wanted to know when this was when I filmed this, 30 minutes in. We've now established that. But either way, so Joe, his brother, and his brother's wife, and their newborn son are likely moving from Michigan down to the Chicagoland area. Joe's very, very excited. I'm very, very excited for Joe. We'll get to see them more often. We'll get to spend more time with his nephew, which is very exciting because this is his first nephew. It's my first nephew. And, you know, needless to say, again, we're just excited because they were up in the Grand Rapids area about 3.5 hours from us. Now they're probably going to be living in the south suburbs or the south side of Chicago. So probably about 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes from us. Either way, it's going to be really exciting. And I've been, for whatever reason, maybe I like love him or something, but I've been really wanting to start stitching more things for Joe. And I also have been thinking about things that I could stitch for Joe that maybe his nephew might like as well, as a way for them to bond. So Joe and his brother love Pokemon. And so I'm sure that his nephew will also love Pokemon. Joe and his brother still play Pokemon Go. Joe, his brother, and his sister-in-law, they all play it together. Maybe I'm just jealous, but so they play that on their phones and they're really into that. And I was on Etsy, which I should not be on because when I'm on Etsy, I find things I like. Need to wet my whistle. But so when I'm on Etsy, I find things I like. And then when I find things I like, they end up in my cart and then somehow they come here. I don't know if you might have a problem similar to that, but if you do and you can make sense of it for me, just let me know and then maybe I can stop. But I don't know if I want to. Either way, found a bunch of Pokemon patterns that I love, and I had to order them. If you're into Pokemon, you might also like these. If you're not, maybe you'll still find them cute. So this is Meowth Sushi Bar, which I thought was so cute. I love sushi, and Meowth is adorable. And I think that's something that would be really, really cool. Like Joe could have it in his office, or I would use it in my own office. That one I think is probably going to be for him as opposed to for his nephew. They're all going to be for Joe, and then if he wants to give them to his nephew, or if, you know, that's really the plan. So this is the Epic Pokemon Generation pattern. And when I say it's epic, I mean epic, guys. It's got like all of them. So Joe like pays no attention when I stitch as well. And that's fine because there are some people out there that need or want a partner that like is very intent and focused on everything that they're doing. I don't need Joe to find stitching interesting. Like it'd be cool, you know. I think he pretends to be interested. I think that he's excited that I'm out and doing things and trying to be social with it, and that I am excited about the Flosstube and I'm excited about Crafted Zen. Like that excites him, but like stitching doesn't excite him. So what I think would be really funny and my real goal is I want to stitch these projects and not say anything to him about them. And I want to see if I can stitch like an entire thing like that. I mean, look how big this is. I want to see if I can get this whole thing done without him realizing I'm doing it. And then what a gift would that be? So maybe I'll have to hide it is what I'm saying. But I also don't think I'll have to hide it because he can be oblivious. We can all be oblivious, right? When we don't really take interest in something. So this one's really cool. Again, it's another one I think would be really kind of neat in an office space potentially. but this is like the, what's it called? This is just a Pikachu Pokemon Yellow Expressions mood, but it's got like all these different Pikachu moods. I think that's super cool. Super, super cute, super cool, nerdy, but fun. I love it. Okay, so then this one, I realized Christmas is coming. And like I mentioned with the Tiny Modernist pattern, so there's a spot in my entryway where there's a table, and we got a Christmas tree on clearance last year that I've got to start getting ornaments for. And I can kind of, I'm starting to already envision this whole little spot in my house. And because of that, I realized I want to start stitching some ornaments. And so I was on Etsy on like 2 Mondays ago, just looking up different ornaments, thinking like, oh, you know, it's number one, they're really expensive. And not that stitching them yourself is that much cheaper, but at least then, I don't know, I'll like them more. It'll justify me spending on them. And it gives me something to do. But so these are the Satsuma Street. I love colorful things. I love color. And it's like 6 of them. Or actually it might be 12, because it might be the 12 days of Christmas. No, it's just 6. So I'll change the number to 2021. But so cute. That's it. Never mind. No. So that's it. So I think that, and then one more. I had one other purchase that I made a while. Oh no, I've got 2. So we've been rewatching, or well, I've been watching for the first time, and Joe's been rewatching Doctor Who. Any other Who fans in the house? But this actually, I want to stitch this for Joe for Christmas. So this is a Doctor Who. It's like, it's not really a sampler. It's just all the different phrases and things. But it's really, really cute. And it's funny because I bought this and I read through everything on it. And so now as we're watching these episodes, these iconic moments that are represented in this piece are coming up in the show. And I'm super excited. So really the Pokemon ones, I was kind of more joking, but this Doctor Who one, I think I could stitch this without him realizing what I'm doing because it's not super colorful and engaging. And I would just kind of be on my own doing my thing on my side of the couch. And I would like to do this for him for Christmas. That's a real goal I have. Okay. So there's that one, and then the final one that I bought, this is also from the Witchy Stitcher, who's doing that cryptid stitch along. Any fellow Beetlejuice fans in the house, speak now. I bought the handbook for the recently deceased. I'm so excited. So between this and all of the patterns that I'm going to show you guys next time, it needs to be understood that I don't need to buy any more patterns. I just need to stitch them all. And that's that. That's what needs to happen. Either way. So I hope you've enjoyed yourself. That was another Flosstube with Abby and the Crafted Zen. Again, if it's your first time here, thank you so much. I hope that you had fun. I hope you found this engaging. I hope maybe you saw some new patterns or a new designer that you want to check out. Just know that I am looking for meeting new people, meeting new stitchy friends, engaging in the community, and I am really appreciative of you being here. If you want, feel free to subscribe. If you're new, I kind of lost my train of thought there. No. So if you're new, if you're returning, thank you. Like, subscribe, comment. Feel free to find me on the Instagram. I've got links to that, and I'm sure the about this, but I've also got them in my profile. I'm posting all the time, or well, you know, as often as I can, updates to my stitching so that you can keep up with me there. Feel free to message me. I love chit-chatting. I love to meet new people. And without further ado, I hope you have a fantastic Labor Day, and I'll see you on the other side. See you in a couple weeks. Bye.